Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Spark of Genius Flesh and Blood production. Little CC gameplay, replay action, and classic constructed from the Calling Antwerp, round 11 of 13, Swiss Katsu versus Briar. My name is Eric, joined by my co-creator, co-caster, co-compatriot,
Hello.
co-caster,
I think you got them.
co-commentator, co-compatriot. No, I forgot co-commentator for some odd
Oh,
reason,
and that's
but
the one we're
which is
doing.
weird
Well,
because we're
kinda.
doing, yeah. It's kind of, well, yeah, casting commentated. It's kind of like a commentation, but like review.
Yeah.
So this is going to be Royal Briar. Andre on the right
I want
here.
to
You see the
start the
cash. You
play.
sorry.
Push the
See the
play. All right.
gold. See the crown
The
here,
gold
and the
token. Yeah.
Katsu. We'll just call it nullless, nullless
Hmm.
Katsu here without any null rune barrier.
Yeah. As we talked about, the null rune barrier not super important because Briar
Hmm.
has the Rosetta, which does 2 arcane, which you're not going to
Yeah,
pitch a card to block 1 arcane damage from the
yeah.
Rosetta.
We've
There's
run
grass.
this we've run this gameplay ourselves. Of course, one of our videos was Katsu vs
That's
Briar,
true.
and I did not run any Arcane Barrier. I did
Yeah,
run
it
one
worked out well.
versus Viscerai. Yeah, it worked out well. You just end up running at them, right? So Katsu going first probably did not want to go first. Probably lost the roll, and Briar wanted to go second just to
Right.
get the early aggression, right? But
Hmm.
the key is that I think Katsu's aggression kind of comes in waves and is more combo oriented, whereas like your regular 4 card hands are not going to do that much damage. It might be
Yeah.
Kadachi go again 0 for
It's
4 at tops. So
possibly
it's like
true
10
for Briar
damage.
too, actually, because your
Yes.
cards are pretty mediocre when they're by
Yes.
themselves, unless you combine them with Man Heroic, and I think that's the
Yeah,
key.
they're mediocre when they're mediocre, which is most of the time. But that's just like
Yeah,
your hand structure is Runeblade. You just have to accept it. You have to accept the
exactly.
lows because you're gonna want to climb that mountain. So
Yeah,
we just see Be Like Water, Red go again. So it's just like your standard, Briar's just gonna be blocking out with probably the entire hand, I imagine, possibly.
yeah.
If you can
Briar
get away
opted
with
to
keeping one.
take the one Kodachi, I think. So Briar would be at 39 at this point, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. Briar would be at
Yeah.
39.
Yep.
Gets rid of
So
the entire
good
hand.
block. Smart to keep 2 cards for that final attack because very
Mhm.
likely Katsu's going to want to attack with a more than 3 attack card, and you don't really want to give him a possibility for a Katsu trigger or a mass
Yeah,
trigger
I
at that.
mean,
Wouldn't happen turn
yeah,
one, but attack actions are
yeah.
much more meaningful than your Kodachis.
Yeah, you definitely want to save that Iron Weave on the Briar side for like something that comes in for 4. Like
Oh yeah,
the armor is super, super important to the Katsu matchup because of all the really annoying on hits that Rob realized
Rob.
were a thing during our Katsu games here. So we're
It's
just
true.
seeing a Swarming Gloomveil for one Rune Shan Gogen.
Yep. So slow
Not
start, right?
Yeah, slower start. I mean, generally something you want to see is pitching that Earth Lord for like Mount Heroic and just going nuts.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
didn't find the Mount
But
Heroic because otherwise you would have played it
yeah,
because
probably a
Mount
very
Heroic.
low non-attack action hand, right? Because you'd want to
Sure.
be able to get the embodiment of lightning for go again. You don't necessarily want to rely on the grasp to give your swarming gloomveil go again here, but
Yep.
it works. And that's why an E strike to end the turn.
Strike
Um,
for 5.
for 5, draw a card.
Strike for 5. Draw a card. Yeah, could have done 7. Could have done draw a card, but without the arsenal, probably easier to just draw a
Yeah,
card. So this is just coming in for 5 here.
yeah.
So the turn's coming in for 9 total, right? One swing in
Also,
5.
important to note too, drawing a card lets you cycle quickly to, well, not cycle, but get to your channel mount heroics quicker, right? You
Hmm.
want to draw more cards to see them sooner, which is the whole game plan.
True.
Yeah.
That
And
is
yeah,
fair. Yeah. I mean,
the gold token will help out for sure because Cashin's going to be a hell of a card to draw 2 and then hopefully play a Mount Heroic on that same turn.
it will. It needs to come sooner rather than later to be good in this match because Katsu's not going to wait along
No,
forever here,
Katsu has a
right?
very short agenda. It's to combo you down.
Yeah, pretty much. So Katsu's going to go down to 34, keeping a
Yeah.
couple cards in hand. Probably just going to Kadachi and attack and arsenal. Generally,
Mm,
Katsu's pretty okay with just playing off 2 card hands. Not really necessary to have
Yep.
to like blurt out your entire hand or get value like Fi does because Fi doesn't block as well.
And on a 2 card
Katsu's
hand, you could
cards.
potentially also get Mass Trigger if Briar doesn't respect it as much. So you could draw a card,
True.
then kind of keep going, right? So there's
Yep.
always some level of respect you got to give to a Katsu hand.
Yes, coming in with the yell surging from Arsenal, no floating left, 1 card in hand,
Okay.
so can come in with the if he lets oh no, looks like 2
Oh,
cards in
giving
hand.
the
So
Iron Weave here, actually.
It's like he,
Bramble
yeah.
blocking
So
for
it,
3.
yeah, embodiment was made so it is a 4 block. There can be no scales. This isn't a combo card, but
Oh, there was
ancestral
Ancestral on top of that.
is a
Nice.
is a thing which which punishes that play exactly. Well, luckily for Ironweave, like the main piece, the main point of
You can
Ironweave
still
is the
keep it.
effect, not the armor. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just battle worn. So we are going to see that Katsu had a flick flack.
Yeah, probably
Very good card to
Whelming.
discard in this particular situation. Yeah, Whelming or Descendant. Probably, yeah. Whelming
Mm,
here. I think if you have the bonds and you have a bonds target, you
yeah, you go
probably
that route.
Descendant is just more damage here, right? But like the thing is that
True. 0 for
your
5,
third
I
hit
believe.
is yeah, your third hit is coming in with mass trigger, right? Because you've hit the Kadashi, you've hit the surging, so you really want to put as much pressure as possible. And
It's a
you've
good
already
point.
gotten a card out of Briar's hand, so now you're coming in with 4, potentially 5 off scale. So you're forcing a
Grasp.
1 card
Ooh.
block into grasp, which is pretty
Yeah.
good.
This might be
I'd be pretty
overblocking,
happy with
right?
that.
Autumn's Touch blocking 3. Is that right?
Yeah, you are overblocking because
Yeah.
you don't like scales.
You got to
Like
get over
you pop
scales.
scales,
Yeah.
it draws you 2 cards too.
Oh,
So
because of mask, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
because of mass trigger,
Blocking
so
4 would be a huge mistake. You're right.
you need
Yeah,
you need to block that. Like I'd be pretty okay with popping the scales for 2 cards when you already have a
I
card
think
in
so.
hand.
I think so. There's the
Oh,
cash
I got,
in.
got the
So cash in, it's okay on a well. At least you got to block with some stuff and come back with a 4 card hand,
yeah,
right? At least there's that. But it does make every other cash in henceforward or coming up will be completely useless,
true.
which is kind of a risk. But also, you can't really use it for like a swing big turn with Mount Heroic anymore.
And we're playing
Which is a
Briar,
bit of a
not Reiner,
shame.
man. Come on, we gotta
Swing
get back
big,
on this train here. So
yeah,
we do
but still,
see the
still looks like a
Gorganian.
decent turn.
Yeah,
Coax
I
with
had the
go again.
Gorganian, but the Coax was 7 go again. I mean, Briar has 1 card left. I guess you could pitch for Rosetta for
Uh,
2 and
two
2.
two cards actually. I believe 2 cards.
Oh, there's 2. Oh, because
Yeah,
Cash and Drew 2. Yeah, it's also
Cash
true.
draws 2. He could
It's kind of
potentially get an extra
interesting.
card when this hits, if this hits.
Could potentially get a card. It does have go again, so it does make it does make sense. I think the other
Yeah.
piece is that Cashin kind of effectively worked as a 3 of a kind. Like you're blocking up and then you're
Yeah,
playing a card to like
exactly.
get back to your. It's 3 of a kind at home, but not really.
Right, right. A one-time
Your
three of a
gold is
kind
your
at home.
pitch. That only gets you 2 of a kind, but you can play from hand.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
that's
It's
pretty
true.
good.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So I didn't see if that hit or not. I
It
assume it
looks like a hit.
did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it hit because
So a
we're gonna
full
see a pitch here.
7 Rosetta pitching swarming. Swarming could have gone with go again if he just attacked with it. So it could have been a swarming pitch for Rosetta, but the
So
last card's probably important to keep here.
yeah, the swarming pitch for Rosetta for 2 and 2. He could have, yeah, because if you really want to force damage, you swarming for 3 go again because you already created embodiment, so it
Mm,
already has go again, and then you use your
exactly.
last card to pitch for Rosetta. So you could have technically come in for 7, but I think you just want to keep that last
Yeah,
card.
keep
Could
the
be
last
channeled out.
card. And if you think about Rosetta dealing 4 damage and the swarming dealing 4 damage, you might as well attack with Rosetta and just get the swarming back later.
Yeah, I think this is okay play. Like if your attack action is not forcing some kind of disruption, I think it's fine because like they're just taking a bunch of free
This
damage
is
anyway.
vanilla
So
damage.
Katsu, yeah, so Katsu's down to 23, but then keeps the full hand. Kind of has to work around it. We
Yeah.
did see a tunic activation there to pay for spinning wheel kick red. Gonna take the 4 because now Briar is comfortably was at 14 health leave. Now it's a 10 health leave.
Yeah.
10 health lead. Going to be
So
banishing
that 4.
snatch.
Yeah, I mean
Red
that
snatch looks
health lead
like.
is gonna dwindle so quickly in this
Oh
matchup.
yeah.
It's just gonna
Don't you
swing
love?
back and forth.
Don't you love aggro v aggro? Just like
Uh, Non-ironically, yeah, yeah, I do.
yeah, it's searching for 100 wins. So he probably has 100 wins in hand. It's
Right.
kind of like the only reason you're searching for 100 wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andre gonna give it a quick
Yeah,
read
it's
just
not
in
a
case.
popular target for Katsu's ability. I mean, it could be,
Not
but
something you see that
it's
often. You see
you'd see the
Gus.
main combo chain, combo
Yeah,
lines
usually
come through.
surging line, I should say, not Gus line,
Surging,
surging
that's
line.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are gonna
100
see
wins.
this. 100 wins for 3. Probably gonna play another one for 4 is my guess, because
Otherwise, why? Like, why would you do
otherwise
this?
why?
Yeah.
His hand might have just been super awkward because there's just yeah, there's the
There it
100
is.
wins.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely telegraphed. So if you were trying to like
yeah.
gauge what the opponent was trying to do, this one was kind of easier to read. Um,
This is nice, and the main reason is this is a break point for Mask.
it's true.
Like
I think he
oh,
let
it's
it.
it's
He
gonna,
let it
it's gonna
through.
be broken. Yeah, it's gonna be broken for. He didn't want to give the last piece of grasp there. but the Breaking Scales
Hmm.
is still there, so it is a combo card, so he could have scales it. He
Yep,
probably just decided didn't want to bother with that.
it's true.
Drew either he drew the Lord of Wind or he had it before, but he could use that too now. He hasn't pitched yet, by the way. This is all
Yeah,
being
I know.
too off the
All
tuning.
zero at that. Oh, okay. That if that's the card he drew. Oh no, sorry, that was from Arsenal. So
No, that's from
that
Arsenal. So
was
just set it.
planned out. Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. I like doing
Oh, he
this.
got the channel mount from Arsenal.
Oh, I
Okay,
was
so
right. I guess I was right that
yeah,
he
so
kept a channel. I kind of figured there might have been a channel in there.
yeah, because otherwise probably pitch for 4 damage.
Sure.
But yeah, of course the right play to keep Mount heroic, but it did go down the toilet, unfortunately. So only
Yeah,
two
no
left.
no embodiment. So I guess he just couldn't really block.
He had the
Or no,
embodiment out, but he
did
didn't
he?
have any good non-attack actions probably.
I guess he probably just didn't have double block. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense. Oh,
It
Scar,
was there
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
blocks for
Although,
two.
it's an interesting decision to make because you either block it and kind of end your turn early, or you play Scar with Rabble and like get some damage in.
Yeah,
This might be the
he
play.
just had a bunch of two blocks is my guess. I don't
Yeah.
fault him
Well,
for
looking at
that.
that, yeah, no non-attacks probably too.
Another Ravel.
With a hand like that, oh, he probably didn't have a blue Earth card to play the Mount Heroic.
Yeah,
Is my guess, which is
probably
why he
not.
probably just let it go. Yeah, because
That'd be
otherwise
hilarious
you
if he
could
didn't
just
have it.
yeah, you could block out, then just pitch the earth to play it out, then keep your 5 card hand for next turn, which would be really good.
That's snatch.
Oh, what a hand!
Yeah,
What a hand!
there's no way
No,
you're taking 3 cards here because you'd have to block with 3 of those to block with CNC.
exactly.
So
No, I think he made the right choice to just give up Channel Mount.
I don't know if he had a choice to be
Right, it
honest
wasn't
with
really a
you with a
choice.
hand like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. If only kind of Providence would be nice, but he'd be giving up his Channel Mount, so I don't know if that'd be great. But with a hand like that, maybe you do. Like maybe you do get rid of it.
Yeah.
5 card hand, a lot of strong cards in hand.
So we do see
Although
Katsu going down to
no
11.
non-attacks.
Because that was a casual 16.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly on a 4 card hand, 16 damage, pretty good.
Not too shabby. So Katsu only gave up 1 card and the scales.
Hmm.
You're gonna see another surgery strike. Looks like yellow. So it's
As
gonna be
far
coming
as
in
I can tell, yes.
4. So I think what you have to do is give him the 4
Yeah.
block and just respect it. Because like if he
Ooh,
has
blocking with Mount Heroic.
or you just block for 4 with Mount you just fate for scene, but like
Yeah.
he had it too. Okay, so it's a good thing he respected him here, but
Yeah, luckily the
maybe
embodiment of Earth is
another
doing some serious work.
he's gonna just
He's
pop
thinking about
scales
it.
here. No, he's
Uh,
definitely popping
this is
scales.
not a mass trigger, but
No, but it's
you
still
draw a
card off
card because
whelming.
of whelming, so it's still
Yeah.
good. And 1 damage gets through.
I'm,
Yeah,
the thing is, you can't just like he's gonna use it eventually. It's better he uses it on like a less explosive hand,
mm,
or at least on Briar's perspective, because Briar's just blocking up, right? So it seems that
yeah.
Briar might just want to play a 0 for 4 and pass.
Oh, he
We
had
do see a
the
bonds
come through.
from Katsu.
He did
Yeah, from Katsu
Katsu,
trigger.
right?
Yeah.
So
Katsu the bonds.
he Katsu bonds out. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
So I don't remember. It doesn't really matter if he has Dishonor because he didn't choose the. He did have the other Gust Wave, the Descendant Gust Wave. He
Oh, that's
had
right.
Whelming Gust Wave, so Dishonor wouldn't be
Sweet.
a thing. It would
Right.
still come in for 4, but it wouldn't.
Still a 0 for 4 on a blue. I was going for 100 wins.
Oh man. Yeah, sorry, 100 wins. I think the reason he's doing this is because it like pseudo forces the block his mask, right? Because he's hit Whelming,
Hmm.
he's hit Bonds. Assuming Bonds does actually hit. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's gonna search, he's gonna banish the 100 wins, get 100 wins.
Oh wow.
And I think the key
Yeah.
is here that it makes this 3 block that Briar probably doesn't want to block because it's just vanilla. It gives it the mastery, right? So it
Exactly.
adds that little annoyance to it. So
It's true.
especially when he has no pitch, like the other option is spinning wheel kick because we just see him play one. So he would be able to banish spinning wheel to get a spinning wheel. However, he hasn't pitched yet, so he might just be like wanting to arsenal the last card.
It's insane
Or it's a
how
0
like
for 4
this
ender.
whole thing's possible with one pitched card.
Yeah, it's just the blue flusterfist. I mean, the
Yeah.
key is Katsu lets you like trade cards here and there. So yeah, Briar's not Briar really likes the 2 card hand here. It's gonna be not
Oof.
blocking the mass trigger.
I really want to know. It might just be like a pitch for CNC, is my guess.
Just for CNC, you're just
Or-
coming for 8.
Or it's Mount Heroic. Pitch for Mount Heroic and set up for next turn.
No,
You don't
I don't
keep
think
it?
so.
No.
No, I think you just like because Katsu's at 11. I think you just like have to run at him with anything at this point.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Your time is kind of gone for setting up heroic. It'll also be like your last heroic at that point. No.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, but yeah, otherwise, I mean, this is the turn to block, honestly, because if he didn't block earlier, it would have been just over. Um,
Yeah, like the channel was actually pretty good to block the surging because you
yeah,
were able to not have to give up your armor for that. However,
he luckily had the combo card to top it off, so it was already in his hand, unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately for the Briar, not
Yeah.
unfortunately for the
Oh, of
Katsu. Briar
course.
is
Yeah.
going down to 10 here. Looks like the card.
Two
Ooh,
cards
looks like a
left.
brick. Looks like it was a brick on the draw here because looks like two cards left, but he just arsenals. Might have
Interesting.
just been might have just been a brick,
Was
just either
100
like a
wins not
blue.
being able to, was not able to play 100 wins here?
He did play 100 wins and he drew off mask.
There's one in the banish
Like
zone,
it
right?
was. Yeah, he banished off bonds and he played 100 wins.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it
That
looks
makes
like he
sense
just
then.
bricked. He
Yeah.
just bricked the attack action. So he might have just drawn another like attack reaction. Like he could have had
Mm.
like ancestral empowerment drawn into like a another ancestral no or something random like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, straight brick there. Pretty unfortunate that particular scenario. Like literally any attack action would have been pretty good there.
Hmm.
Like a zero, like a red flusterfist would have been ideal. It looks like a snatch coming in
Yeah.
here
Giving it
with
go
the
again with
go again.
snaps. I
With
wonder what the
snatch
next
into
card
snatch.
is. Into
Snatch
coax.
into
Okay.
coax. Pretty close because this is like on hit has snatch ability, right?
True.
Because you could just choose to both people draw a card. But
Although there's no
you give
go again.
Katsu a card here. Yeah,
Yeah,
no go again on
you
this.
probably, oh, it's a tough choice. I probably wouldn't in Briar's situation or position because you're
Hmm.
going to be on the back foot after this attack. Katsu might just choose to take four, and if he does, drawing an extra card is going to be really, really bad for you.
Yeah, because Katsu's on 3 cards right now because of the CNC block.
Yeah.
Does not have tunic anymore, but still has 2 armor of the mask of momentum. Now,
True.
Briar does still have 2 pitch with the Iron Weave, right? So we got to remember that like Briar still has like a get out of jail free card. The issue with Iron Weave is you need so much to get it off. You need
You
a
gotta set
non-attack
up.
and an attack,
Yeah.
and then after, right?
Yeah.
Then you get to do it
Something that
after the
costs two,
fact.
maybe a CNC, right?
Yeah, CNC, probably a Rosetta at this point of the game. Like you just
Yeah.
smack him for 2 true damage
Honestly,
and
if
2
he's
physical.
low enough, pitching for rune chance, attacking with Rosetta, single blue. Really, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah, it's just a single blue for 2 damage and 2 physical. It
Hmm.
ain't terrible here.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
looks
it's gonna
like
be
Mateus
you
thinking
can't
about this
survive
block here.
blocking with 3 cards every turn because Katsu's gonna poke you with Kodachis. Like you're both basically leaking life at this point.
You
So
think it's possible that he chooses to quicken? Each player gets a quicken? I mean, Katsu can't always use it because a lot of Katsu cards are just like
innate
go
go
again
again.
openers. Yeah. Whereas Briar does not have that. Like Briar's used all the Rabbles, I think, at this
It's a
point,
good
pretty
point.
much.
Yeah, because there aren't many options really for Katsu besides combo cards that have not met their requirements can now gain go again.
Yeah.
So you can really fix a bricked Katsu hand, but you probably
Yes.
have more to gain on a 2 card hand with Quicken than Katsu does.
Hmm.
So I think that is a smart
Now,
choice to do it.
the other thing is that you let Coax hit, Briar gets embodiment, right? So then your 2 blocks are 3
Mm.
blocks.
Yep,
That
that's a good
is
point. Yeah,
that is
embodiment
that is
burst
what's
is a
gonna
hell of a
happen.
drug. Yeah, yeah.
It is. Imagine when you
So
got 7 of those or whatever the hell.
yeah, oh, Briar was so broken before. Yeah, so we'll
Mm.
see what he decides to choose for the options for Cokes. I think embodiment. I think the Quicken was a good idea. I would say do not draw a card because Katsu can run over you with an extra card.
I would say just do the quick and pass, but he could want his arsenal,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
he
Katsu
could, he
bricked once,
could,
maybe
but
3 bricks
at,
before.
at 11 health, I probably wouldn't.
He's dodging all the effects.
Did
It
he
looks
not pick
like
any of them? Not even a
he
health?
didn't pick any. Yeah, he doesn't really want to. Well, he's on higher health in this particular case, so it's
Yeah.
not as bad. But
But
I
if he plans to
think
like not
that's
block as
fine.
much, maybe you do want the 1 health just to like buffer like that one attack like for lethal, right?
The
You know,
the
get that
the,
one
the
health.
Kodachi. You're literally buffering Kodachi.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, maybe not a bad idea.
Now, so Katsu on 3 cards. I do see a Lord of Wind in there. Probably going to start off with the Lord of Wind. Kodachi, pitching Lord of Wind for
Right.
Kodachis. Then we have that Arsenal card that was either the card that bricked off the draw from
Yeah,
100 wins or the other
the
card. So
card that
one of
was
the
already
other.
there.
So
Yeah.
it's a pretty reasonable chance that it's an attack reaction or a defense reaction because we did see a flick flack in the grave,
He
right?
did
So
discard
it
it, I
is
think. Yeah.
possible that he drew into a flick flack or an ancestral and like
Mm,
Arsenal the other one kind of thing.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem is I don't think it's red flick flack because I think he slams it on Cokes or he
Okay.
slams it on Snatch actually. Because once you slam it on Snatch, then you block with whatever for 5.
It's true.
So
It's true.
I don't think it's flick flack. It just
Yellow
doesn't
flick
make as
flack.
much sense to me. Looks like it was
Oh.
Descended Gust Wave.
Yeah. Okay. So built-in go again. So Quicken could have been nice. We're seeing
That is
Sotomoro block
interesting.
for 3.
So now I'm just curious. Okay, so
Bonds.
this play makes sense. Yeah, this play makes sense. So now I'm curious what his other card was. So he had Descended Gust Wave, and then he had another card, right? So if it's a
Right.
blue 0 cost, then I think you probably just pitch the blue 0 cost and Kadachi
Mm.
3 or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, and you go in for 5. That's a possible play.
Right.
He might just be wanting to save the Descendant
Just for the combo
for
potential.
yeah, or like some kind of like be like water threatening or like surging line kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
And it wasn't lethal, right? So there's the argument that you can probably get more value out of your card if you save it for one more turn.
so Bonds is actually looking for whelming here, which is
Oh,
interesting to say the least.
that is interesting. Yeah. Thinking of the future.
Uh,
Thinking for next turn.
Looks like Briar's hand is a whole lot of nothing, but they're all 3 blocks thanks to that
Yeah.
embodiment.
Here's all the blue earth cards coming through now with no Mount Heroics
Yeah,
to speak of.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
You're
I'm actually
so,
surprised that Briar is so close in health with all of that has happened, right? Losing the
coming for
Mount Heroic
16
for
with
C
4
and C.
cards.
Yeah, it's true. All red. Yeah. Luckily the Rabbles
Yep.
hit. Except one Rabble failed. Like if the first one got a blue off the top, it was over.
Yeah,
Because
you're
the second
doomed.
one
You're
gets
doomed.
a
Yeah,
yeah.
you're absolutely doomed. You're actually doomed.
Yeah.
So here's that spinning wheel
4
kick
more
I kind of
damage.
mentioned earlier that I thought was coming through. So it looks like it's going to be a spinning wheel kick into that whelming gust wave that he grabbed off Bonds.
Right. Yep.
There is no pitch left because it's 1, 1, and 1. So it's just a 0 for 3, which
Yeah.
is mildly annoying.
Okay. Giving the E strike. So surprisingly not leaking any he took
He took the spinning wheel to the face. I
spinning
think.
wheels what he took. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he should be at 7.
7 makes sense. Taking 4.
Or sorry, he took
the Kodachis to
He took 1 Kodachi.
one
He only had
Kodachi, there we go.
he could only one Kodachi because he whelming Bonds Kodachi spinning
Right, so
wheel.
he couldn't have afforded
Yes.
it. Yeah.
He can't afford the other one. 0 for
Okay.
4.
0 for
Exude.
4. Yeah. Couldn't keep the E strike, so this second best thing really.
Mhm.
The hand was pretty
Now-
dead to begin with. You could E strike for 5 plus exude for 9. That's all he really could do.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I can't really see the Katsu hand, but I'm looking at my mask real tempting like
Yeah.
because
3
at
things
this
hitting
point in
and
the
not
game-
killing at this point is pretty rare.
exactly it's just lethal, right? So the mask is essentially glorified armor, but the other problem is you have no null rune, so the widcon could very easily be just arcane damage, but
It's true.
and off just like one bricked hand, but off the Katsu side, like a bunch of flicks and ancestrals and crap like that. But the other key is that for a deck that does arcane damage and you can't, yeah, there it is. Thank
There
you,
it
sir.
is.
Thank you, sir. I would have probably called it a misplay to not block with this because this is probably
Right.
one of your last easy blocks with the mask
Yeah.
because
You know
it
nothing
represents
else is
2 life.
coming. Exactly, and
and you
that was
can't
the end of
block
Briar's
arcane.
turn
Yep.
too. So
You have
makes
to
sense.
take every chance you can get to block the damage that is blockable in this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very nice fluster fist for 4. But no go again, I believe. That was just a 0
he
for
has
4.
snaps.
But he could snap it. Yeah. And that was probably the right
mean,
time to do it.
He's definitely snapsing it because he's otherwise he would have just
Force.
Kadachi'd again. Like
That's
why
a
would
good,
you not
yeah, of
Kadachi
you're
again,
right. Yeah, he would make that mistake. There's no embodiment of Earth, I believe, so this is only blocking for 3. So it took the 1 from
CNC.
Fluster Fist plus 6 is definitely lethal. No armor to speak of, so
Casual lethal.
you could block for 3 and go to 1 health. But yeah, okay.
Block for 5.
Oof, there's a
his
lot
hands-
of blue Earth slash
His hands
Force
have
of
been
Natures.
ass.
Yeah, this is rough.
This
I
man
mean, that's
shuffle or what?
just Briar. I mean, you end up using cash in early to maintain, a health parity, but then if you don't get a big swingy turn, it's pretty hard to win as Briar, from my
No,
experience.
there's the flick flack here, nicely
Yeah.
covering up that snatch.
Oof, that was a
Sorry,
scar.
scar.
For a scar.
It'd be even nicer covering up a snatch,
True,
but
true.
covering up a scar here. Now it
Yeah.
looks like we're getting into like the grindy mode of the game where everyone's just kind of,
Yeah. I would say the
trying
grindy
not
mode
to.
does favor Katsu because of Kodachi's.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
way harder to
100%.
pay for Grasp and Swing Rosetta.
Look at Andre just taking that 2 as fast as you can do.
Yeah.
Going down to
Oh,
4. You could have a
Fluster. Oh,
Fluster
no
Fist for
go again.
4.
Right? So
Yeah,
basically, give him one blocking card, and come
it
in a
is
three
lethal
card
though.
hand. It is, it is. So you do
Yeah.
have to block with a single card. Too bad there's no blocking armor. That would have been great. But this is
Yeah,
a nice opening. I think you can definitely come back from this.
yeah. You do have to give him a card. He's just casually checking his central only pumps 1. It's like, yeah, it could be 4 or 5.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
But
Yeah.
there is no like we haven't seen a razor. He also has no pitch. He does have 1 pitch, 2
Oh,
technically razor,
imagine.
but
Oof. Yeah, that would be
I,
disheartening.
we didn't see a razor in the deck pitched, played, or blocked with.
No,
So I'd be
not yet.
surprised if it was a razor. I don't think. I also don't think you play around it. Otherwise, you just kind of lose at this
You
point, right?
can't. You can't. Yeah, yeah. Oh, he
It's like it gives him
does.
4. No, it's just
Oh,
blocking
it
for
is
4 because
four.
he's
Okay.
on 4. I think the life totals just haven't
Yeah,
updated.
he took both Kodachis, so he's at 4. But I mean, you're playing around Razor at that point, right? Because you might as well take a bit of damage to keep an extra card. Depends what it is. I mean, I don't think Bramble's gonna do much.
I think the
Oh, I think we
1.
missed something.
He wants to take some damage somewhere. We just missed it.
Yeah, yeah, he must have. Okay, because we assumed he was at 4 with that Fluster Fist coming in. So, that's
I think we see a
oh,
Sonata
oh no,
hitting for
he
jack shit.
whiffed.
Oh, he
Complete whiff.
loses.
Complete whiff.
Oh, that's just doomed.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I think is that a scoop? No, he's just shuffling. Okay.
I mean, it might as well be like that. Like
I
this
know
is
he
the
picked up his
mother
deck
of
as a
all
scoop
whiffs
there,
right
but
there.
yeah, ooh, and
That
yeah,
is
he paid
that
the
is
extra for it too. I mean, been there,
yeah.
done that, but I've also been on the other side where I got like
Well, you just
huge,
you
really
hit
good
2-2 or
Rosettas.
3-3, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that was his
that's
last. That
the
was the Hail Mary. He needed to get 2 attacks there, and that was it.
he's
Yeah.
not even flipping his cards upside down. He's just like holding them upside
He's
down.
just like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
Andre gonna GG out here.
yeah.
Briar losing.
Briar doing
I
Briar
mean, even if
things.
so if Sonata hits and finds literally
You have to have
2
built-in go
attacks.
again though, because unfortunately there is no embodiment
Yeah,
of
you don't have the
lightning coming
second
out of
non.
that.
Yeah, you don't have the second non-attack. So what you could do, I guess, is let's say best case scenario, you have 1 floating after the Sonata, right? So
You pitch 4. Yeah, it costs 3, I believe.
he has no Rabbles left. So I guess like swarming is the only attack action with go again if you create a rune
It
chant.
costs 2. Sorry. Yeah, it would cost 2. I'm sorry. So 1 floating. Yeah. Sorry, I was just doing the math. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you can like get a blue and then pitch a blue, get a rune chant. Like if you get like an Autumn's Touch or
Hmm.
something like that, and you like
I mean,
pitch the blue Autumn's Touch, create the rune chant, have 2 floating, come in with a
you
swarming gloom veil, you do 1 arcane,
Swarming Gloom Veil
uh
for
3 go again.
4. It would be. I think because you created 2 auras, one was the
Oh, you,
embodiment of Earth, and then the rune chant, that'd be 2 auras. It'll come in for
oh, because
4.
you did arcane. Yeah,
You do 1
he would
arcane.
have done no
Yeah.
2 because he would have hit twice, right?
I'm sorry.
He
It
would
would
have
deal
hit.
2 arcane. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we're just looking at like best case
Embodiment of
scenario. He
Earth.
gets Katsu down to 6.
Yeah, back down to 6. You have your embodiment of Earth was triggered or generated. Swarming would come in then for 4, right? Plus the
Yeah,
extra rune chant that you
1
pitched
arcane
for.
and
So
4. So he beat it 5.
5,
5
and then
regardless.
4
And then
not
4.
lethal. So there was probably nothing that could really
Well,
win the game there.
no, but then he has to block. He has to give up 2 cards because then he has Rosetta, right? And the Rosetta
Oh,
is
oh,
coming for
oh.
2 and 2.
Yes, of course. Yes. So you have 1 floating, so you can Rosetta. It's true. Yeah, yeah.
Even if he didn't, he has Iron Wave. So
Oh,
it
the
doesn't
Iron
even
Weave.
need to be a
Didn't
blue.
even
It
get
could
to
be.
use the Iron Weave. Oh.
It could have literally been anything, right? It doesn't even have to be a blue there.
True,
It could have
true.
just been
Iron Weave
a,
would, yeah.
yeah. So that would have done a 2 and 2. So then he's at 3 and forcing. He can go to 1 and force 2
Yeah.
cards. But then I think Katsu still keeps like 2 cards and probably wins
Like
off that. I don't
a
know
blue
since
for
our
2 Kodachis plus like a 4 attack and strip the entire hand, right?
yeah. It'd just be like literally Kadachi 0
And
for
then
4
0
strips the
for
hand.
4, strip the hand. Even like a 1 for 4. Even if you drew like a Megenshi, it's still fine because you pitch a blue
And also
for it.
like the next ancestral probably wins the game. like over the
Yeah,
top kind of thing. So
exactly. It's still very slim, so
yeah,
even though it
and
was
that's
a
off the.
complete whiff, I don't think there was much room for Briar to really come back.
I think best case scenario, you're dealing like three off arcane with a rune chant, and
Yeah,
then you're swinging in for two with Rosetta.
yeah,
So you're
and
swinging
then
in
a
for five. So
swarming.
you're giving them for three, but you need more unpreventable to actually win off that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, Briar cannot run invert and kill the guy
No,
on his own
unfortunately, not
turn.
a
That'd be
shadow
funny.
hero. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Oh,
a Shire.
GG.
So that was the game here. Kind of went like I expected here. Katsu able to just like kind of like
Consistently.
negate the fact that he went first because Briar's hands early were just kind
Oh,
of bad.
yeah.
And he got the channel mount on the CNC turn, which is a little tragic for the Briar, obviously. But Briar just really couldn't block that out. With
Yeah.
your four cards do 16. Like you just give up. You kind of have to give up the channel. I don't really fault him for that because you're gonna give up three of your 0 for 4s to keep a channel when you don't even have a blue either.
No.
So
No.
best
You can't
case
even play it.
you
So what are you gonna do? Like 0 for
no
4, keep Mount
pass
Heroic.
zero, it's zero for
The
four
16
pass,
was
right?
way better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the only part would if you reveal a blue, as you said, you're just like
True.
you're
Small
doomed, right?
risk.
But
Small risk.
yeah, I think definitely with 2 3 blocks, I think you just pretty easily just block the three and go 0 for 4, 0 for 4, right? But
I think
those
so.
force of natures and such came way later, and like blue, his hands were really odd.
Yeah.
Like they were like all of his 0 for 4s, or like all of his blue 3 blocks in earth, or like his hands were on
They
the Briar
came
side really
grouped
bad.
up, really. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then his Sonata was just like icing on the cake. So I think pretty low roll on Briar side, I'd say.
Hmm.
But that's the deck. Like if you can't eye
Katsu.
roll, don't play
That's
Briar.
true. And
I don't
Katsu did
know.
have that whelming after playing Surging, right? Surging yellow,
He
fully
did have the
blocked, and then he
natural
had the
whelming.
whelmings, which is unlucky
Yep,
for
blocked
Briar.
off
No, it was lucky
channel.
for Katsu.
Yeah, he would have had to give up an extra card to play around the breaking scales, and then breaking scales just sitting there and like extracting value because you're like trying to play around
You're
it. Like
always playing
eventually
around it.
you just gotta say, and then
Just
he
put your
didn't
foot
in
down.
the yeah, Mateus drew a brick, right? Or drew just like some random card because he ended up having two cards in arsenaling, right? So
Yeah.
that was the game. Not too many points to really talk about other than like the ebb and flow. I think both players played as well as they could have with the
Hmm.
cards that they had.
Hmm.
Not really too much you could have like really reworked to have better turns. I think the Katsu player like picked good search targets, like picking the 100 wins.
Mm.
Giving the 100 wins like mass trigger was quite nice. I think having 100 wins, using it for like the 0 for 4 and the extenders to get at that break point, very useful. Uh, Using the kind of descendant into bonds line, like you don't have to surging to
Yeah.
start that line. Descendant has go again,
It's
unlike
true.
whelming.
It's true. Yeah.
So
Better late
you're
than
not
never with
really
that combo line.
exactly. So that was the game. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the kind of content. If you did like this kind of content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. For that, wherever you're watching in the world, have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Bye for now.